All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Sydney Fitness and Health Expo. It's lovely to have you here. My name's Caren Biddulph, and I'm a sports dietitian. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a rundown on how nutrition is going to assist you in your training, as well as recovery. So please stop me at any time if you have any questions. Otherwise, hang around afterwards. I'd be happy to go through them with you. So today I'm just going to run through the new research that we have around sports nutrition, what you should be doing before, during and after training, as well as touching base on supplements, what's allowed, what's not, and how to use them. So we all know that good nutrition is a really important part of your training regime. It's going to help you not only with your performance, but also with your metabolic and muscular adaptations to training. So around the world we have a couple of groups, such as the American Dietetic Association, the American College of Sports Medicine, and locally we have the Sports Dietitians of Australia making recommendations. One of the top bodies, however, is the International Olympic Committee, and this is what they have to say about nutrition. So it's nothing that you haven't heard before, but it really is advice that we need to follow because everything is based on evidence, and that's the way that we practice nutrition now. Nutrition has become a science as much as an enjoyment piece. So the first thing everyone always asks me is about energy. How much energy do I need to sustain my training? All right, so dietitians will typically use body composition analysis to judge where you are at. If you need to gain or lose some weight, they'll adjust your energy intake. Low energy is exactly what we don't need, because what will happen is the body will start metabolizing your stores, fat firstly, and if you don't have any fat stores, then your muscular stores. So that's where we see a loss in lean body mass. Low energy availability is the term that is used now most commonly in our sporting communities. So what you want to aim for is to have an energy availability of over 30 kilocalories per kilogram body weight. What that means is after training you have enough energy available to support all of your metabolic processes. So that just talks about the newer concept of energy availability, and of course the dietitian will be able to work this out for you. You can just jump online and find a sports dietitian in an area close to you. Other guidelines that we use are dietary recommendations as well as dietary guidelines, and as I mentioned, those two equations that we most commonly use are the Cunningham equation and the Harris-Benedict equation. So those you can also find online. Many calculators too to calculate your energy needs. Some bodies, especially the South Africans, have made specific recommendations as to what you need, and generally that will lie around 25 to 35 kilocalories per kilogram in your normal diet. If you are training, that will reach up to as much as 50 to 80 kilocalories per kilogram body weight. But of course, the best judge is you. It's how well you perform at your optimal body composition. All right, carbs. So this is the big thing. It's always been a big talk. People showing interest in high protein diets and therefore very low carb. The fact of the matter is you do need a certain amount of carbohydrates for glucose for the brain, but we definitely do not need to be eating the high carbohydrate diets that we have been doing. That has led to all of the metabolic diseases that we see. So the idea there is to support your training. Obviously, there will be times when you need a higher carbohydrate intake, around 7 to 10 grams per kilogram body weight when you are carbo loading. For the rest of the time, keep all of your processed sugars, simple carbohydrates down to a minimum, and find your energy from good fats and also from your protein. There's the recommendations from the Sports Dietitians of Australia. And you can work that out for yourselves, or as I said, have a sports dietitian fix that up for you. Protein recommendations. Who here has increased their protein needs as they've started training? The most interesting thing is that endurance athletes actually need more protein than most of our strength training athletes. That's because the body adapts to your training profile and actually does not need as high a protein load as you might think. That being said, it is raised and can reach as high as 1.7 grams per kilogram per day. That's quite attainable from a dietary point of view. So if you're increasing your protein load, i.e. a really good source of protein at every meal, you should meet that recommendation. Here are the guidelines for your maximum protein needs, and you're more than welcome to once again find this on either the Australian Institute of Sports website or the Sports Dietitians of Australia website. Dehydration, a massive topic. A loss of 2 to 3% of your total body water will impact your performance, not only in competition, but in day-to-day training too. So it's really important to make sure that you get your fluid needs up. It does not have to be a sodium-based sports drink, just plain water will do, and please no energy drinks. All right, before exercise, what to eat? Most of us train in the mornings. I've been hearing this around the spot today, but it is a good idea if you are training again at night or in the later afternoon to refuel 2 to 4 hours before your training. If you cannot do that and you only have an hour's gap if you're training early in the morning, a good idea just to top up your muscle glycogen stores and get some carbohydrate into you. Some new research is also showing that something as simple as a carbohydrate mouth rinse will actually trigger to the brain that you're ready to exercise and fire you up to go. So a lot of our top cyclists down at the Australian Institute of Sport are actually rinsing with a sports drink just in their mouth, and that actually signals to the brain that there's energy available to use. So really interesting research coming out there. During exercise, your primary goal is to replace your fluid. If you are exercising for longer than an hour, do increase your carbohydrate intake, all right? Your body can metabolize up to 90 grams per hour. So if you choose to eat a banana while you're riding on a bike, drink your sports drink while you're in the gym, or even combine your branched chain amino acids with a sports drink, that's always a good idea to do too. After exercise, you want to replenish your glycogen stores, and you also want to replace any of your fluid, electrolyte losses, and also help your body rebalance in terms of its protein synthesis. So current research is showing that if you take in around 1 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of your carbohydrate, you will be able to replenish your glycogen stores. Just make sure that over the next 24 hours, you're also meeting all of your carbohydrate needs. Protein is important, especially your branched chain amino acids, your BCAAs, or your essential amino acids, and you can get 3 to 6 grams of those from a 10 to 20 gram quality serve of protein. So what does that look like? This is exactly what it looks like. Here's recovery snacks that will provide you with 60 grams of carbohydrate as well as a minimum of 10 grams of protein. So some really good suggestions here. These are household dietary items that you can find in everyday food. You don't need to purchase expensive supplements. If you choose to, that's fine. I prefer not to go the processed route and use whole foods. Rehydration, the key goal is to replace 150% of what you've lost in body weight in the session. So just do this once or twice. Jump on the scale before you exercise, jump on the scale afterwards, work out how much of your body weight you've lost. So a kilogram of body weight lighter means you've lost about a liter of fluid. So what are you going to replace? 150% of that, which is 1.5 liters, all right? Try to get it in over the next 2 to 3 hours after your exercise. Supplements, multivitamins. The recommendations say that you should not actually need a multivitamin and mineral supplement. Unless you are sick, you're restricting energy, or you're traveling. I say rather err on the side of caution and do take a well-rounded multivitamin and mineral supplement. Also, if you are training heavily, make sure that you check out your calcium and your iron levels, particularly in females that are training hard, all right? Just have a check, go and ask your doctor for a blood test, and they will recommend a really good iron supplement for you. Ergogenic aids. So this is a totally different ballgame when we come to supplements. So ergogenic aids means that it's a supplement that you take in addition to your diet that is aiming either to increase your training performance, increase your competition performance, or increase your recovery and muscular adaptations. At the moment, the Australian Institute of Sport provides a framework as to which supplements are useful, helpful, proven by science, and also those that are not allowed by the World Anti-Doping Association. So I put them up on the screen today, and if you do want a copy of this, just jump on the AIS website and it's really easy for you to use there. So we'll just work through the different sectors in the framework. They have an A, B, C, D classification system. A is that group of supplements that is actually proven to work and that you should use. B is those that are being looked at for more research. C, there's not enough evidence, and D are the ones not allowed. So here they are for your reference. Group A, generally your sports foods and supplements. So this is really helpful if you're doing something like an Ironman tri and you're using a few gels just to keep that carbohydrate level up. In terms of refueling after sport too, they have been proven to work. Another interesting one that has been proven to work is caffeine, and that's one of my favorites too. So caffeine is now allowed, it's not banned anymore like it used to be. And interesting research is showing that as little as 2 to 3 milligrams per kilogram body weight will actually help you improve not only in your endurance exercise, but now also in your shorter intensity exercise. So that's about a coffee, just taken in the 60 minutes prior to exercise, a pure espresso. If you like, you can use something like No Dose, which is available from the chemist, and that's pure caffeine and hydrous tablets. So you don't have to be a coffee drinker to see the performance effects of caffeine. Group B is an interesting group. So this is where we're showing some promise in the research, but it hasn't been proven yet. So there's quite a few on the screen for you up here. And you can see the newest addition there is tart cherries. So you might have heard about that in the news. There actually is some evidence to say that that is beneficial to your exercise performance, as well as rebalancing your acid-base balance. Your antioxidants, vitamin C's and E's are also a good thing to try out here. Glutamine too. Group C is anything else that wasn't listed on Group A and B. If you hear about it, there's been no research about it, really err on the side of caution there until we have more research that shows it works. So what about the things that are not allowed? This is your banned list. So WADA is the World Anti-Doping Association, and they have the following substances on their banned list. Most of it is not a surprise. These are your stimulants, your amino acids, and any of your hormone derivatives. So please stay away from these. Not only will you test positive in a doping test, but you could look at long-term health consequences. So really try and stay away from these that are banned. For the rest, Sports Dietitians of Australia have very helpful resources, and you can find one in your area. So do the Dietetics Association of Australia. Or you can come and see us on the stand at the Australian Institute of Personal Trainers and just mention to them too, if you have an interest in nutrition, we can talk to you a little bit more about tailoring a course to suit your needs. Thank you all for your time today. It's my contact details. Please feel free to shoot me an email, send me a text if you have any other questions. Always happy to help out, and I hope you have a fantastic expo.